literally transport an entire house right to the opera house?
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance.
That she literally did confess in front of everyone and in the opera house right then and there. Time for the final trial.
Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
The final trial. Which is like in Phoenix Wright, but this one's different.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes.
Because everything is an act to her.
Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial?
I would also like to interpret those words as her never wanting to change and adapt to the oncoming situation in an effort to overcome fate itself.
In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Is it going to be easy for her to stand up to Clorinde?
You would draw your blade against a god?
You'd refuse?
I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
You love to laugh at all the actors on the stage, but what happens when you yourself are the said actor on the stage? What are you going to do? Throw your hands up and give up.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
Why? Like, if she really is a god, it would be no effort for her to take on Clorinde.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Was it really an Archon? Because an Archon would easily overwhelm Clorinde, but for some other reason, is it really her?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
Yeah, because you surrendered to somebody. That's like acting out of character in front of everybody. Are you really the character of the actor that you play?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Then what is it?
Looking for excuses again.
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary.
Okay. Then be prepared to face every single argument your way and don't make any stupid excuses along the way.
I will admit that I've been running away I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve.
What are you gonna do?
I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
No true Scotsman's fallacy.
This time, I will protect you.
And who exactly is you? The
Applaud
audience?
and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Says the Hydro Archon that, as far as I can tell, has never taken the stage before and is claiming to be someone who has a lot of experience on the stage. That would usually be Linny's line, but I'll go with that for now.
Oh, now we're making history.
Damn it. She's pulling off another bluff in front of everybody.
Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
However it plays out will determine whether or not she is, in fact, taking it seriously.
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is it the Traveler? Thank you, Your Honor. So we are going to take the trial. They're going to accuse her.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
Unfortunately, how the hell, like, this is all of a sudden, considering the fact that the Traveler, even if it is a show, simply for the Hydra Archon to work up to, I haven't collected any evidence, but at the same time, we were so close to getting him to tell the truth, and it turns out like this in the end. It's okay as long as we can't defeat Furina and Kurt, we still have a chance to figure everything out, right as it goes through. But how are we gonna handle this?
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Whatever it took for Lenny to bring you over here in that metal container.
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I don't even know what was done, but I'll see what happens.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina.
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
Okay.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human.
So that whole entire house, similar to a magic show and the magic box used, was like the gigantic trap used to lure her.
My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
The fact that Lady Furina was not able to tell the difference between anybody's house on Poisson does show that she had no idea what she was stepping into.
We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Uh-huh.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight.
Yes, and now it all comes down to you.
Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Are you really the Archon everybody believes so?
As for you, Traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson.
The fact that you didn't see that says more about you not questioning anything.
You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
No. Did the Traveler reveal anything?
Oh?
My mission was to give you one last chance to confess before it got to this point. We hope that you share your secret with us before the magic box arrived on the stage.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance.
Maybe not, but maybe we'll find another opportunity here.
It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Okay, and let's see you defend yourself. Let's see the audience member play the actor. All we can do now is judge the Hydro Archon. So I can't help but a little bother the conversation. What did Furina want to say to me before we arrived on the stage? Can I actually come up with something before she even says it? Is it possible to make an argument where we can guess what the secret was even before the Hydra Archon herself even says it?
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Okay.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let's see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh?
So, can that be used as evidence in the court?
Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine!
I'm not sure what that means, but I'll just use the evidence as I go along.
So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
Considering the fact that newspaper articles are often used in a court trial, especially from Ace Attorney, just use it as evidence.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Okay.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out.
That is true. Child's conviction. Why was he convicted in the first place? So maybe that is relevant? Meeting with the
Tui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
So these are all the pieces of evidence connected to everything. Lainey's attorney, the fact that we had to become Lainey's attorney, the truth about the serial disappearances of the young women's case, Child's conviction, meeting with the knave. We do have evidence from different cases that we've gone through. But, just as before...
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Neuvillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese.
Says the person who, much like another person in this trial, tried to rush things forward and expected to get off scot-free.
Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course. It is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
The only idea I have for what I could possibly accuse you of is not being a god. Because everything that has been going on so far is like the idea of child's conviction. The only reason he would possibly be convicted for no reason is that he could have been investigating the Ortrice and to figure out what's going on with the trial itself. And the fact that he was convicted suggests that he was put out of the picture so that he didn't investigate any further. That's kind of the idea. That Furina is not actually a god.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
Interesting, the Traveler actually says something here. The charge is not related to conduct as an Archon because you're not?
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Called it.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Because she gave up in the duel against Chlorinde.
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
How the hell do I prove that? I could make some out-of-character examples and arguments, but the rest is going to have to follow.
Charge accepted.
Okay. Fraud as you're not God.
Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
The fact that you hesitate.
Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Again, the word true being brought here.
Yeah. Even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
No. That's a long title. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
Out-of-character claims.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory.
Is it possible?
See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am?
A split personality who's based off of the Archon. Someone who is like an inner subconscious part. I don't have any evidence for doppelganger, but we'll go with it for now.
And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
She does have a point, but do I have anything to suggest that it's possible for someone to live over 500 years without being an Archon? Gotta think carefully. What do I know about the special about Furina exactly? Let's see. 2 pieces of evidence. Actually, 3 pieces of evidence I can use. At least Rossi is certainly in shape, but need to give up all hope. Possible that all Furina is not, but that she's actually affected with some sort of curse? For that reason? That's the only relevant example. The meeting with the knave.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
There's a curse.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Uh-huh. As much as I look at the knave the wrong way, I would still have to accept the information as is.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Instead of an Archon, could it just be a cursed human?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them.
Everybody's having doubts. So now what?
Don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being?
Well, just like before, all I have to do is choose the perfect evidence.
Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
Yeah, well, sometimes humans can have authority over one another, and that kind of still blurs a line there. So maybe your definition doesn't work?
For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale in this very opera house, or consider the endemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Yeah, well, that's just the courthouse providing power to everyone else. So the trial proves the opposite. Wait, that one trial proved the opposite. Furina was actually of no control over the Oratrice after all. Child's conviction. Child's conviction. Because even Furina was surprised, and her surprise suggests she had no control over that. So
you tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
So, now that we're bringing it up again, what is your explanation?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Then why did someone get convicted?
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
Well, now you know what it's like to go from being the audience member to the actor on the stage. Says the actor on the stage who took pride and never actually thought about what it was like to be an actor on the stage.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice.
That's basically an out-of-character argument.
Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me.
Yeah, well, as far as I can tell, the only one who's losing anybody is yourself.
It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day.
Then why can't you explain it regardless whether everybody can comprehend it or not?
But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created.
So, you're saying it's the Ortrice's fault and not yours?
You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Uh-huh.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
You'd demonstrate the existence of the Gnosis in front of the Traveler. Because every other Archon before has shown that the Gnosis under their domain has existed. And usually the Gnosis, as Patrick puts it, the chess piece, is a symbol of, like, the divinity of Tivat.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, considering the fact that Nouvelet Hat is able to, overcompensate for any lack of safety for the audience, I'm sure he's ready and willing and able to. Sure, an Archon could at least match the capacities of a human with a vision.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
At least my character can wield Hydro.
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
Yeah, so are you saying you need Indemnitium?
Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying FURINA'S excuse.
Well, because to me, she said the Ortrice is independent, and the Ortrice passing judgment down provides the Indemnitium. But at the same time, she's also saying she relies on Indemnitium, and she doesn't have any more of it.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar.
Says the person who is almost coming to terms with themselves.
I'm still the same FURINA you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me?
Are you telling other people what they should want?
Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
By pretending to be God.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
She has a point. I still need to actually come up with that.
If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
She has a point. So it is going to come down to evidence.
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
Nope. If we can't prove that she is an Archon, we could try to prove that she is human. And if she's only human... 3 pieces of evidence that we can use. Disappearances of the young women. It turns out the Fontaines can be dissolved in water over the years. Shades kidnapped, dissolved. We found a way to bring back his wife, who had been dissolved. The intrusion of the primordial sea into the fortress of Meripede. The entrance of the primordial sea is sealed beneath the Forbidden Zone. The primordial sea is nearly broken out. It was temporarily pushed back by Nouvelet's power. While exploring the rune near Poisson, it began to collapse. The Navia fell in the water containing the primordial sea. Only the protection of the dead members of the Spina Dorsala prevented her from dissolving. I would suggest Nouvelet, because he had the power to push it back. If Lady Furina did actually have the power, would she be able to push it back?
That doesn't sound right.
So we need another example. Nope, not that evidence. Either Navia or the disappearance of the young women's. Serial disappearance. Maybe this one. I don't know about the Navia one. Dead members of Spina never prevent her from dissolving. Maybe the disappearance? Because... was there a woman who almost got dissolved? Or was considered dead at the time? But then took on the identity of a god? Is that the real answer?
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
So, in other words, if you're not a god, then you have no fear of the primordial seawater.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case.
But what if she's not Fontanian? But then again, that would confirm our suspicion.
But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Admit guilt and avoid the seawater, or take on the seawater and dissolve.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
If she does survive, then... Furina?
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Just know for a fact that if you do decline, you'd be admitting guilt.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina.
What? Hey!
She actually... But she hesitated.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not—
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Why does she not know about Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few That should be enough.
Was she wearing different gloves the whole entire time?
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
Oops.
We saw Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that...
She was nervous before touching the water, as though she had no idea whether or not the water would actually affect her.
She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
I can't believe... You...
We used a false example, or a low concentration example. But the fact that you were nervous and hesitated over the seawater. What's really going here? Can I not know the consequences of touching the water as a human? It's too unlike how she usually acts, unless it's more important for her to keep up her facade than to save her own life. Huh. But has she given up on everything a long time ago?
Listen to me! Listen to me, everyone! Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks! What happened just now didn't prove a single thing!
What if it did?
Think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
Even Nuvela is like, nope, not this time. Exasperated audience member.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
So, is she gonna come up with more excuses?
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway her. She's too stacked against her now.
Dang. The same moment.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is...
guilty?
Guilty.
You want to be the actor? Well, now you can stay and go right to the end.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges.
I still don't even know, like, how to pronounce that. Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal. I still have a problem with the mechanique part. Or no, the d'analyse. D'analyse. So, are you going to live by the very
According
mechanism?
to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Furina is...
Let me guess. They're gonna say not guilty?
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Did the Oratrice just declare Furina to be innocent?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
So... why? Like, again, we did present it. Like, I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, like, Lady Furina is not a god.
Isn't that correct then?
Yeah, but usually it was to get her to confess to a greater truth. But the fact that we got to the judge, the whole purpose of the trial was to get her to confess truth like what she was supposed to do in that box. But she still hasn't done that. And the fact that the Ortrice has come in is going to further prevent us from getting the truth.
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
The Hydro Archon. But we proved in court that this character... We just proved that this person, who is Lady Furina, is not a god, but... Are we actually punishing the actual Hydro Archon? And not this one?